Hi, my name's Rich Wainwright. I'm the CEO of Mutual Vision, and I'm here today really to talk about the importance of digital transformation in building societies with one of our customers and founding shareholders, Paul Ellis of Ecology Building Society. So, a little bit about MV first of all. Mutual Vision is a provider of a digital platform and ecosystem for building societies, banks, and other specialist lenders. And we've actually got about half of the building societies in the UK using our platform currently. And what we really focus on, we're quite an unusual, unique company in that we're owned by our customer base, wholly owned by our customer community. And what that means is we're very heavily focused on what's important for our customers, and are always striving to deliver what's important to the customers, whether that's our own loans and savings products, our core banking system, our online banking system, or our broker portal, or also all of the different fintech solutions that are out there in industry, the 2,500 in the UK, that we integrate through from our integration hub. So I'd just like to introduce Paul Ellis from Ecology Building Society. Paul, could you tell us a little bit more about Ecology Building Society and what makes the society unique, and what sort of technologies that you use to deliver your service to customers?
Okay, Rich. We're very much a purpose-led, values-driven society. And you're going to hear more from other organisations about their purpose and values in future years. But that's been the nature of the Building Society since its inception. And that is written into our memorandum. So our business model is mortgage-led. A lot of societies will refer to them being driven by their savings lenders. But for us, we're really focused on the impact of our lending transactions. Can we spot an environmental benefit from making the transaction? And we have really strong member alignment with that lending policy. And what we're doing is effectively providing a social and environmental dividend in return to the basic activity of providing stewardship of our members' funds, and hopefully providing them with a reasonable interest rate in financial terms. In order to do that effectively, we have to be a first-class financial organisation, financial services provider. And part of that is our choice of MV as our key systems provider. It's really important that we have a stable platform on which to operate. And increasingly, obviously, these days, IT is an essential element of the operating platform. From MV, we use a core banking system, have done now for 20 years. We utilise the online banking system extensively, which is a key part of the digital interaction with our members. And we also use the broker system. These systems have enabled our growth, particularly in recent times. We've experienced fairly rapid growth. And it's key that we can be certain that the platform will continue to stretch with our growth. And in that sense, we've previously tested provisions capacity, and we know that the core banking system can accommodate our needs far into the future. So that provides us with a high degree of comfort. Our experience of using MV systems has been that we get fantastic levels of availability, which is key. There's very little downtime. We've basically experienced very reliable service from MV on a day-to-day basis. And that is obviously an essential element in telling us that this part of our strategic considerations is one where we don't need to be thinking about switching.
Okay, that's great. And what sort of digital transformation and automation have you implemented recently at Ecology Building Society? Any recent projects on that?
So very recently, earlier in the year, we extended our use of the online banking system to end-to-end straight through savings account onboarding. And that was a really important step for us because we were doing some transformation of our back book, and it was essential that we got that system up and running by the 30th of March to enable a significant number of account openings that we were expecting, which indeed it did in fact happen. And that we have to say that was an incredible success. There were glitches, but the key thing there was we were testing this system for the first time. We were first adopters, and inevitably there was a process of discovery for us to some extent. Issues would arise. What we were able to do is go straight to the team at Envy, dedicated team, who were very responsive in providing fixes. So that's been what that's meant is transform some of our day-to-day processes, and we've recognised for a long time there's a lot of outdated manual processes that needed to be wiped out. It's really, I think, one of the main drivers for us, besides the interaction with our members through our digitisation program, is to re-engineer our basic processes. And we found by using this solution that we dropped the time required to open a savings account from 40 minutes down to 15 minutes. There's still a few workarounds that we have to employ, but there's a new release coming through, and we're fairly confident that the time taken to open a savings account will then drop down to about 7 minutes. So you clearly recognise the saving in time, simplification of processes, and part of that is the fact that we've got a series of integrations which MD have chatted along. So we're using Adobe Signature, so no more wet signatures and trying to decipher our wonderful members' handwriting. And then there's integration with Smart Search, which deals with the KYC elements, and also an integration with WorldPay, which will come forward in October, which enables us to take the first payments. That's one of the things that provides a bit of a delay at the moment in the actual elapsed time in opening accounts, but that will be corrected when the new release comes in. So a series of other workarounds will disappear, better integration with those third-party suppliers. And so, as you can see, that translates into cost savings, it translates into a better user experience from our colleagues, but it also translates very practically into a better member experience. So there's much less manual intervention, so a lot less errors, and so inevitably a lot less complaints. That's been a real success.
Yeah, that must really help the members get a better user experience, in effect, I guess. And why is digital transformation and automation so important to Ecology Building Society?
Well, I've mentioned I've mentioned the fact that we want to do that kind of re-engineering internally to have slicker processes. But also the nature of the building society is, being one of the youngest building societies, we've never had a branch network, so remote access to members is really important. So digital developments like this can help us in terms of just sheer availability and accessibility for our members, and that's really key. We're experiencing the growth of a different demographic, if you like, so our membership base is becoming younger. And what we've found is that where that particular type of member encounters manual processes, there's quite a lot of resistance to actually using them. But there's a sense that people are transacting with us because of who we are in some cases, rather than by ease of service. And so it's key that we move on that. So that's been quite an important element. The other thing is that we are experiencing quite high growth. So we have high growth expectations. And so this will enable us to fill that without deteriorating a deteriorating member experience. there's certainly been a big change in the way members want to interact with us in terms of their basic financial transactions. So we don't provide a counter service 24/7, but what we are now available to our members is 24/7, 365, anytime through the digital channels. And so we see savings accounts being opened at 3 a.m, much to our surprise when we get in the next morning. So there's a big element there of self-service, and what that means is members can transact when they feel the urge to do. We've even had accounts open on Christmas Day in the past, but it's a bit crazy really. But it also means that our colleagues are liberated, if you like, from some basic tasks, and so they can focus on a much more richer interaction with our members, that adds higher value really. We see the same with our use of the broker model, which, as you know, we led on developing that module and the experience of using that module. And we find that brokers say they may have conducted an interview during the day on Sunday. They can upload all the relevant documents, and that evening they're there for us the next day to pick up. We've also found that with the broker module, we can use that to conduct interviews with our members. So we'll be having an interview, we'll be filling in an application form, we can then PDF that and send it back to them. We use that platform to do all our affordability assessments, and what that also means then is that we can upload details directly into the back office. So again, there's a reduction in double keying, and again, reduction in error rates.
Yes.
So the whole push in that sense on the digital element is to bring our members closer to society. We want to increase the interaction of our members with our mission, and increasingly through online banking, but also through the Ecology app that we expect to be able to source from you in due course, Rich, no pressure there. That we're able to interact with our members in terms of providing information, deepening their environmental commitments, and gaining their input to our strategy. And that's really important to us. A recent consultation we've done over the last few weeks, we had over 500 members feeding into our strategy for 2030 and our net zero commitment. So as you can see, clearly digital route enables us to build our society in the true sense.
And a personalised digital sort of interaction with the customers is particularly important if you don't have that branch network, I guess, to operate through. So it's all the more important in your case, isn't it, I guess? So
that's right.
So in terms of implementing digitisation, what sort of challenges have you encountered, and how has MV helped with those challenges in the past?
Well, I suppose in one sense that we have limited IT resources. There's the same people who are undertaking a range of projects, and so it's really vital that we have a collaborative approach with our MV colleagues. And what we have is a very positive experience with working with MV. There's definitely a can-do attitude, and as I said, that account transitioning was really a one bite at a cherry situation, and the tight deadlines were met. I should mention that around about 85% of our accounts are now being opened online, so that's been a major transformation.
Right.
There's a good IT team at MV, and a really good range of specialist technical skills. So we feel really well supported. If we're under stress to some extent, MV can help with surge capacity, so that's really helpful as well. MV also as well, I think one of the benefits we've had from working with MV is the horizon scanning you undertake in terms of looking at the range of fintech companies that are out there, doing the relevant due diligence, and then integrating those suppliers into your ecosystem. And And it's a two-way process. So there have been occasions when we've brought potential suppliers to you, where there's been a good fit. They've then been integrated into the ecosystem. That helps us with our moving forward. And on occasion, you say, guys, maybe not these guys. Maybe there's something else better out there. And that's invaluable to us because we don't have the capacity to do extensive horizon scanning, as you might expect. So that's really great. You know, the technical and commercial due diligence has been invaluable.
That's good. That's good feedback.
I think as well, you know, it has to be said. I think we're a small green society. NV are not the largest IT concern, so I think there's a mutual interest in our success and your success, and I think that's really important. But I think also your shared service and shared cost model does make tech solutions that more affordable for us. Bringing things into reach which otherwise might not be affordable for us, and I think there's some value in the kind of arrangements that you broker with some of the suppliers on the basis of, you know, bringing forward a number of users of that technology.
Right. Okay. Thanks for that. And what plans for further digitization do you have, and how do you see these being delivered going forward?
Well, we want to make more use of video capabilities particularly for mortgage interviews. That would be really important. As you can imagine, in our model, there's a lot hinges on the initial assessment of the project. Do we understand the borrower's motivations, what they tend to do with their project, particularly in terms of energy efficiency, environmental impact? So the more we can do to bring us closer to the borrower, the better. And generally speaking, across the business, particularly on the savings side, but also the borrower side, we envisage bringing in web chat fairly soon. Because I think that still provides a level of personalised engagement. So we look forward to that coming forward into the product mix. As you know, I'm particularly keen on the transformation of Provision core system into the cloud. Because there's the opportunity there for a better workflow capability and a more intuitive user interface as you re-engineer it into a series of modules for software as a service and so on. So that's really key for me. That's something that I've wanted for a long time, and it feels to me like we're nearly there now, which is great. And as a shareholder, that's good, because I think, well, okay, that's going to drive more leads, more interest to NV itself. And in time, as I say, again, it's no secret that we would like to source an app from you in due course, because that's really quite important in terms of, again, deepening that interaction with our members. So those are the near-term asks of you, Rich.
And so, what effect has COVID had on your plans for digitisation and your members more recently?
Well, I think with our experience of COVID, in the first, it's worth mentioning that our move to remote working was relatively smooth. For various initiatives we were already undertaken for operational resilience, and apart from a handful of processes, the Provision core system was perfectly capable of dealing with that. So that was good. But it has accelerated the move to online. Our online user base has doubled in the last year. And the online demographic has broadened out, if you like. There's more capability out there in the potential user group, and less resistance to employing digital routes. Simply, partly driven out of necessity and making people more familiar with the technology that's there. And, colleagues on the Dun side will no doubt have experienced the same, that we see a move to away from cities to more remote living. You're clearly going to need digital access to enable you to actually work. So
Yes.
there's been a transformation in attitude to employing online capability. So that's basically what we're seeing, and we're reacting accordingly and are able to move at pace.
Yeah. Okay. And just finally, just to wrap up, what advice would you have for your peers in affecting digital transformation in their societies?
I think I'd first off say that you need to consider the end user experience. This is not a technical solution first and foremost. How are your savers and borrowers, what's their experience going to be on their journey with you through digital channels? And I think that's something we've talked to you guys over the last few years, to think of it from the end user experience rather than the technical fix. And I think this is where collaboration really comes to the fore in ensuring that it's a cost-effective route to digitisation. And that gives whole sharing of experience and knowledge, and the way MD are approaching things with open APIs, selecting a range of partners into the ecosystem, and ensuring therefore that there is a great degree of integration between the various components, just makes the whole process, the journey, that much easier for us as a society. And that's the kind of benefit that I would urge other adopters to consider in the midst of what they're doing.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for that, Paul. I think made some really good points there, particularly around the personalization of the user experience for digital users as well. I think that's really, really important, something that we're really focused on going forwards, because it's important to appeal to a wide demographic of users, of members out there. So very important. Okay, well, thanks very much for your time today, Paul. I think there were some really useful tips there for all societies to hear. Thank you very much for your time today, Paul.
Thanks, Rich.